welcome to Globe Watch with me, Charles Ebune. At least 1 million meetings will be held this year globally, amongst them the UK-Africa Investment Summit, to take place in the month of April in the capital of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It will be one of the summits to focus trade, political, and cultural investments on the continent after the Saudi Arabia-Africa Summit last year, the Russia-Africa Summit last year, and of course in 2022, the US-Africa Summit. But just how unique would this gathering be for Africa, who has known British interests for a couple of centuries? My guest today on Globe Watch is the chairman of the UK Cameroon Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Elias Pungong. Thank you very much indeed for being guest on my program. Happy New Year 2024, and thank you very much for receiving us in your office here in Douala.
Thank you, Charles. We're supposed to be in Yaoundé, but I'm delighted you made the trip to Douala.
Absolutely. As Globe Watch, we need to move from one place to another. The UK Africa Investment Summit will be possibly meeting in its third edition. It is one of those gatherings expected to talk about trade, political and economic relations between the UK and Africa. Not all countries are invited, but Cameroon is part of the countries invited. How unique would this summit be as from April?
It is wonderful to realize that the UK takes Cameroon very seriously. Let me just go back to the October summit, the Francophone Africa UK Investment and Trade Conference that took place in London. And my sincere condolence goes to Madame Minja, the head of the Director General of the Investment Promotion Agency, who passed away a few days ago. Our hearts goes out to the family and to her friends and all that. She was instrumental to promote Cameroon's participation at this important gathering. So that would follow up on that. As you said so eloquently, not all countries are invited, but Cameroon is invited. Cameroon is invited because the UK takes Cameroon very seriously. Cameroon, if you look at the UK export finance, Cameroon has a quota of £1 billion. And so far we have used maybe 200 million, and with the east entrance into Douala from the Dibamba end that has been financed by UK Export Finance. Cameroon has an investment treaty, trade and investment treaty with the UK, which is tariff-free, which is fee-free, that gives Cameroonian export into the UK free access into the UK market.
You talked about the UK market. The United Kingdom currently exports to Africa are about $18 billion of goods, and imports from Africa about $16 billion of goods. That is a trade balance in favor of the United Kingdom. As somebody who is involved in this business of enabling British interests in Africa and African interests in the United Kingdom, how do we solve such a balance?
Cameroon, let me give you some statistics. Cameroon today has, in terms of trade alone, Cameroon does 700 million pounds, that's about 600 billion, in trade exchanges with the UK. Cameroon exports a lot of vegetables and fruit. If you go to supermarkets in the UK, like Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Asda, those who know the UK.
Of course, the Cameroonian banana.
You have Cameroon banana and tea and vegetables and pineapples. That can be increased significantly with the trade agreement between the UK and Cameroon. So we have to encourage export, and everything has been put into place. The Cameroon government was very smart to sign that agreement, and the problem that I see is that people are not aware of the privilege that we have to export into the UK, which would also try to regress that balance.
It is expected that in April in London, trade deals with Africa worth nearly $7 billion will be negotiated. Where do you think the core investments should be done for the needed growth seen in Africa to take place vis-a-vis UK interests? Is it energy? Is it infrastructure? Is it food security?
Cameroon, we haven't waited, we haven't waited for us to have a summit in London. I think deals are happening. You have the British International Investment, which is the UK private equity arm, who are investing a lot who have an exposure of more than $250 million in Cameroon. In the energy sector, the UK Export Finance is targeting a lot of road projects, water projects, agricultural projects. So it's already happening. So when we meet in London in April, we're just going to concretize a lot of these projects that are already happening.
One of the key enablers of the UK-Cameroon relationship is the UK-Cameroon Chamber of Commerce, which you are the chairman, which has been existing for some time now. And in the last British National Day, the current British High Commissioner to Cameroon eloquently cited the job you are doing in enabling businesses. What actually is the chamber doing?
We are doing a lot, actually. We are actually the investment promotion arm of the UK High Commission in Cameroon. So we support the UK High Commission in promoting trade and investment in Cameroon through different activities. I'll give you an example. We were very much present at the Francophone Africa UK Trade and Investment Forum in London in October.
Last October.
In October, working closely with the late Madame Mincha and the Investment Promotion Agency, yes, and the whole Cameroonian delegation, including the High Commissioner of Cameroon to the UK, Mr. Excellency Fotabon. So we are present in every event. We have the Promote coming up in February. We are going to support the UK High Commission to promote UK-Cameroon trade. We will have a pavilion. People can come in and have some of the information that I'm giving you today. So we are there present. We are
concretely in what domains? I know that there are so many areas: education, energy, infrastructure, commerce itself. But where do you think are the real opportunities, which you were just talking a while ago?
To look at opportunities in Cameroon, Cameroon has a lot of opportunities, as everybody says. But if you look at opportunities in Cameroon, just look at what the president was saying in his speech. Energy. The energy is the lifeblood of every economy. So the energy is important. Communication infrastructure, meaning roads, bridges, railways. The UK, we support. I was reading, just coming on your interview, I was reading some documents saying that Cameroon has been involved in every single major infrastructure project in Cameroon since 2010.
The UK?
Be it the Kribi power plant, the Dibamba power plant, the UK has been involved. Road infrastructure. The problem with Cameroon and the UK is that people don't, we have to bang the drums. We need people to know what is happening.
Since you say people don't know actually what is happening, what has been done, how is the chamber helping in putting to the public this information?
We are supporting, as I said before, we are supporting the UK High Commission to promote UK Cameroon trade and investment. So how are we doing that? We are participating in events. This interview is part of that process to make sure that people understand the opportunities that UK companies offer, and Cameroonian companies can offer the UK as well. We've talked about the export. I think we have to emphasize export of the UK welcomes Cameroon fruits, bananas, but I will also add coffee, cocoa, There's a big initiative funded by the UK government and the EU to promote Cameroon cocoa into EU countries in the past, involving the UK. So our people and our investors and our entrepreneurs need to know that the UK market is open, it is tariff-free, you have free access, no taxes, no barriers, no quotas, nothing.
Having said that, you know that the UK is largely open now, especially since they left the European Union, and the United Kingdom is one of the key countries of the Commonwealth market, which is extremely large, plus 2 billion people. Is the Chamber equally networking with the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, for example, in enabling all of this for businesses in Cameroon?
The Commonwealth, we absolutely welcome the initiatives by the Commonwealth Enterprise Council. You have seen that there's been a lot of appetite for it, with companies that are traditionally, I'll put in quote, Francophone. The Port of Douala, the Port of Kribi, Camwater, the National Transport Council,
Shippers Council.
Shippers Council, all of them are involved. I mean, they were in London recently for that conference. So these are sister companies, but all that it tells you is that the Anglo-Saxon world, including with the center being the UK, they're open for business in Cameroon, and slowly but surely, people are realizing that and people are flocking to that. And that is what we want to piggyback on and to promote UK trade and investment.
The fact that Cameroon is host of the Central Africa Regional Hub of the Commonwealth Trade and Investment Council, is that a plus for the UK Chamber of Commerce? And how do you establish contacts on both sides?
We are very, very close to the UK, I mean, the Commonwealth Enterprise Council initiative. I mean, Lord Marlon, the chair, we are in constant communication when he's in Cameroon. That just, we are complementary. The Commonwealth initiative opens a bigger outlook, including other bigger countries like Australia and all that. Canada. We are focused on the UK. India, and what
South Africa, Nigeria.
What it does is it tells you the opportunities that exist in the Anglo-Saxon world, and as a country, a
common language for trade, for legal activities,
and for investment, and a common way of governance. And that is very, very important. Today, the Cameroon as a country needs to understand, which is what I'm saying, that we can, at the same time as we are very, very prominent in the Francophonie, there's a new world out there that we have to explore, and we are looking for investment, we are looking for capital, and that is where we need to be looking.
Let me be specific. This is not the only Chamber of Commerce that exists. You have the American Chamber of Commerce from Cameroon, you have the Turkish and whatsoever. If there is something you can pinpoint to say that as the UK Chamber of Commerce, this is a business that we enabled and it is working, this is a trade mission that we enabled and produced this result, this is an initiative or a program we initiated, and this is what is on the ground actually happened, what will you designate?
I don't want to repeat myself, but our results are there for everybody to see.
Sure.
The results are there. If you look at the UK Francophone Africa Investment Forum, we had a lot of transactions that happened during that conference. And the year before, we had a UK trade delegation into Cameroon, and we're expecting another one as part of the promote.
Okay.
That deals in the pipeline, mainly around energy, electricity, water. The president mentioned access to clean water in different cities in Cameroon. The UK is particularly interested. There are a lot of deals that on the pipeline?
Well,
on
Actis
that?
was equally involved in a NEO and other portfolio.
I mean, that is something that has always been there. I mean, Actis has been involved in Cameroon since 2014, and that is ongoing. But I'm talking about new things.
Okay.
So we have concrete achievements that we can demonstrate, and more. As I told you, we will have a big presence. I promote in February, I think, and we'll have maybe a UK trade delegation back in Cameroon. A lot of deals are being discussed, mainly on road infrastructure.
As somebody who does facilitation of British interests in Africa and Cameroon in particular, and Central Africa equally, what do you see as the bottlenecks for a smooth functioning of business flow?
What I see is, Cameroon has to make itself attractive. We have other topics that we'll discuss
absolutely
maybe today. The important thing is the competition for capital.
Okay.
And I think as far as that is concerned,
Attractivity.
Cameroon is lagging behind because there's a general view that people love Cameroon, people want to come here. It is true, people love Cameroon, people want to come here, but we have to make ourselves attractive. It's like a woman who is prepared to go to get married.
What do you propose for that attractiveness to be effective?
There are certain initiatives that are happening. You see, the Prime Minister spoke at the Africa CEO Forum. He spoke, he gave a keynote address on video. He was present at the last one. Those are the things that we have to be doing.
Okay.
In the upcoming Africa Investment, UK Africa Investment Summit in April, we must be represented at a very high level. People need to know that Cameroon welcomes investment.
From the voices that matter.
For the voices that matter, that Cameroon welcomes investment and Cameroon is ready for the investment. Cameroon has a problem of attractiveness. And I think that is a key point that we need to know.
Before the interview ends, you have huge knowledge on a good number of economic subjects which you have been working over the years and which you are equally involved. One of the potential Cameroon has, which everybody mentioned and the president equally talked in his speech, was of course mining. Is mining a sector that British investors will be ready? The Minister of Mines says that we should move from a potentially productive country to an industrial one.
Yes, Charles, I wasn't expecting this question, but because you asked, I will give you a true answer.
Okay.
Cameroon has a problem of attractiveness. Okay? Mining is a sector, people get confused. People think mining is the same as oil and gas. The only commonality between these two sectors is that you dig something, it comes out of the ground.
Solid mineral.
Solid mineral, it ends there. Cameroon has to make itself attractive to mining investors. Just bear with me, let me explain what I'm saying. If you look at Gabon has 15 operating mines, another 5 to come on stream. Côte d'Ivoire has 20 operating mines, another 10 to come on stream. Mali, the half of Mali has war. They have 15 operating mines, and another 15 to come on stream. Burkina Faso has 20 operating mines, another 20 to come on stream. Cameroon has no operating mine worth its name. And the president announced that 3 are going to come on stream. Wait and see. Why am I giving you these statistics? I'm giving you these statistics that you can understand that we have a real problem with attractiveness. Mining is all about investment. Government doesn't invest. Government doesn't have money to invest. We welcome the creation of Sonamin. It is a wonderful idea. But Sonamin doesn't have any money. To get money, you need to speak to 3 investment centers. You need to speak to London, the AIM, you need to TSX, the Toronto Stock Exchange, and the Australian Stock Exchange. Those are the 3 mining sectors. You can ask South Africa to aid, but the 3 really liquid mining centers where you have finance is in the UK, Australia, and in Canada. We need to attract investors to come and explore, to see what is the potential of Cameroon. You cannot say we have potential just by saying we need to see what is there.
The mining sector, of course, is huge investment and takes a lot of time. The last bill on mining passed in Parliament.
The mining code.
Yeah, sure, the mining code. I heard a lot of noise about it. People like you who have insights in the mining world, what was not supposed to be in that bill?
What I can tell you is that we had a mining code of 2016 that has never been implemented. Okay, the government created Tsunami. As I said, it's a good idea to have somebody who will protect the interests of the government. But what is it that you're protecting? That's the question you have to ask yourself. What is it that you're protecting as a government? We don't have one single operating mine. I've given you the statistics. We don't have a single one. We say we have 3. The president announced a few days ago that 3 are going to come. Okay, I give you a rendezvous in 12 months' time to see if we have iron ore being shipped out of Cameroon. But what we need to say is that we did not implement the 2016 code. 2023, we have a new code in place. It is good. But what the private sector is saying is that in as much as the government has to protect its interests, money doesn't come from the government. Money comes from the private sector. So the minimum that you can do is to listen to what the private sector has to say. Because if there's no money, there's no mining.
We conclude the interview any moment from now. Last year, one of the largest gatherings was of COP28 in Dubai, and everybody agreed that we should be transitioning from the fossil fuel industry. This is a debate that you have never been in favor for, especially when it comes to development on the continent. Why?
No, you wouldn't say that. You know, COP has been a journey from the Paris, if you remember the Paris, everything started during the Paris climate change agreement.
2015.
2015, but the impetus really happened in Glasgow in COP26, where the UK took it on and set concrete targets. Then we moved to COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh. That was, you know, that was actually cemented. And by COP28 in Dubai touched the heart of the issue. You know, fossil fuel. What are we going to do with fossil fuel? I mean, and a lot of people argue that it's hypocritical. You're asking Africa to stop exploiting the oil and the gas resources and the energy deficiency in favor of something that we are not the cause of. But what I would like to say is that the move to net zero 2050 is irreversible. So as a country, we need to think, what is it that we have that we can bring into play? I'll give you just a few examples. We have everything. We have hydropower, we have geothermal power, we have solar power, we have everything that is renewable that we can bring into the mix. And Cameroon today is in a very favored position, as the president said, to explore hydroelectricity with night sugar, with kiko. That's number one. Number two, 50% of the Cameroon territory, people don't know, 50% is made up of forest. We are 10% of the Congo Basin, that is the second biggest absorber of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere after the Amazon. We can monetize that for our development. So the government, as a policy, in as much as we want to cry the imminent death of fossil fuel, we also have to see what is it that we can do to get a lot of revenue to develop our own infrastructure going forward. That is my advocacy.
One last question: the 2024 economic forecast of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, or if you like, the British Wood institutions, are not actually the best. They downsized them from 2.9% in 2023 to 2.7% in 2024. It means that we are entering into a year of difficult economic moments, right?
Of course, of course. I'm not the one who will tell you that. Listen to the speech, 31st of December. Everything is going up. I mean, the biggest problem that we have is the energy problem around petroleum products into the Cameroon, the territories. There are different solutions to it. We have the inflationary difficulties that will come with it. So we are in for a year of turbulence. But in as much as you look at the year of turbulence, look at the opportunities. The more opportunities lie around mining, which is what we've mentioned in Cameroon. The opportunities lie around renewable energy, hydro. Cameroon is developing some big dams, but Cameroon is also developing
Nashtigal, Lompanga, Memvele, hydromaking,
Benia work, but there are some smaller ones like the Bombay. There's some smaller ones that are being developed.
I'm sure.
So let us look at our strengths. What is it that we offer? You know, Cameroon also has a lot of wind energy. We have a lot of solar in the north that we can harness on and be a net exporter of energy to give us much needed foreign currency.
What do you intend, particularly in 2024, as the UK Chamber of Commerce, to concretize as a New Year resolution or gift?
It's a good question, but we are going to continue the work that we're doing. You have to know that we are still pushing to accelerate the development of the UK Cameroon Chamber of Commerce. We have Promote coming on. We're going to be very present with different activities. I think we'll have an opportunity to talk during Promote. We have the UK Africa Investment Forum in London in April. That is going to be a big one. Then we have the traditional, then we'll have maybe a UK trade delegation into Cameroon and possibly Cameroon trade delegation into the UK. So we have a lot of things that are ongoing. We are working hand in hand with the Cameroon National Chamber of Commerce. We are working in hand also with the European Chamber of Commerce to see what we can do to propose to the government to improve, to make Cameroon more attractive. As I told you before, the problem with Cameroon is business climate, respect of the law, respect of the law. We have seen that there's a lot of court cases where some of the judgments that have been issued by judicial security have not gone down quite well in the investor community.
Well, you talk of MTN and others.
We were talking about MTN. I didn't want to mention MTN. Because you mentioned, I will mention MTN. Those sort of things have to be sorted out by the government because they do a big harm as to the main issues that Cameroon has, which is, attractiveness to foreign investment. Cameroon can only develop when you have money, and money comes from foreign investment, and we need to make sure that we can capture our fair share of this foreign investment.
And with that, we conclude the interview. The chairman of the UK Cameroon Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Elias Pungong, thank you very much indeed for being guest on my program, and Happy New Year 2024.
Thank you, and welcome again to Douala and to my office. Thank you.
You're welcome.